Alright, it is currently, as you can see, it just turned 10:28. I'm starting this video. Oh, I started at 10:27, but it just turned 10:28, as you can see. I'm doing this, I just captured video, but for illustrative purposes and to make sure that the demons that are obsessively engaged in psychological torture, meaning as I just captured that video and as I create a screenshot, including the video that we're going to review today, which is the same time 366 days ago, meaning yesterday in 2024, that's January 30th of 2024 at 10:27 a.m. The Los Angeles Police Department were engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, just like the Ontario Police Department are, while the demon in Unit 55 is right now stalking with amplified audible activity. That is the ongoing sound of like what's a reverberating boom. In doing so, that's called audible activity in engineered light, while they're all in relevant position. This is gang stalking and in real time. And it is the ongoing communication literally to the federal government. RGS is here, gang stalking under the fake sun. And this is the communication, this is the entity. She's not acting by herself, okay? The entity that's filling the apartment, not only are they gang stalking, everything that these old people are doing sounds like an ongoing earthquake, sounds like booming in through the walls and through the ceilings. These are demons. And you know that because the fake sun is here, and I've also have it at the same time over me in Los Angeles at 1800 North Alvarado Street. We'll look at that, but you also know that not only is the fake sun here now, it stays here well after 3:30 in the afternoon, well after 4 o'clock in the evening, and it's still reflecting off the same window. I capture it through the blinds. The light source itself so powerful that it's piercing through the blinds and shooting onto the wall in the same way that you're looking at. It's nothing other than engineered light. Okay, it's not sunlight. And this is where the demons in units, this particular building that I'm inside of is building 49 through 64. They're all going to prison. All right, you're criminally living at the crime scene. Excuse me, you're criminally remaining in the path on behalf of the state that relies on them to live here. You're not a private individual in a facilitating venue where the state is documented engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, and in fact the state relies on your presence. And since you are engaging in that malicious conduct, and the demons do so with impunity, these are third parties, but I'm going to speak frankly. These are demons, and they do so with impunity. So I want to be clear. These are murderous sex offenders, all right, lusting after my demise, and they are engaging in what is an ongoing threat to my life, which is state action. It's the removal of the mayor and everyone else that I'm documenting, all the public officials. But this is the case against the people who are all going to prison. Any gang stalking immigrants are going to be deported. That includes any companies such as RGS. Their gang stalking, their identities are going to be produced. I don't have to go and hound them down. This is all taken care of itself. Any gang stalking immigrants are going to be deported. This is engineered light. And you can see I've got one arm is what you can see, but you can see two shadows there. That's reflecting on the outside, and this is piercing through underneath a roof into the interior of a building. That's impossible light activity. It's also impossible while the sun is over Alvarado Gardens. So I just want to be clear. This is where the entity is monitoring, and the ongoing inherent disruption to quiet enjoyment, the ongoing harassing environment, the ongoing terrorism as you are stalked via amplified audible activity, which is the formula of gang stalking when you are in the path and you are perpetually maintaining presence in the path in the engineered environment where the fake sun and the fake moon remain, where the engineered light is present. Engineered light, like I've shown you, that is all outside. You're monitoring me while you walk in it. You're monitoring while you fly over it. You're monitoring while everything that you're doing is heard inside of the apartment, and it's a massive sex offense. Okay, while I'm documenting this inhumane and unconstitutional conduct by the people of the state, these are demons who are very hostile to that, and that hostility is relevant because it's a threat to my life, and because the entity is willingly and intentionally and deliberately and also is so mentally ill and unstable that they derive pleasure from that sort of threat, which is an act of terrorism in the United States. They're all going to prison for that. That's impunity. That's malice. You're not ignorant about the fake sun that remains over the same apartment building hours from now, as I documented at 1:24. It's right here at 1:24 p.m. It's never going to be in Los Angeles. I've already documented this, but we're going to review this now. As I touch the phone screen, you're looking at the entity that is stalking in the sky space. I want you to see this is the entity stalking in the path. This is also documentation of impunity. Flying right in relevant position while the demons are amplifying audible activity inside of the apartment. They're all going to prison. Okay, Paul Leon is going to be removed from office. This is exposure of domestic terrorism in the city of Ontario. This is the criminal conduct. This is called crossing in the path. They're flying higher than the sun. This is an absurd circus-like environment, but it's psychological torture while you have 24 hours of, it's psychological torture with the engineer light, psychological torture, that's called stalking with light. It's demonic. And the demons are surrounding me, and every move I make, everything that I document, which they don't like, the fake sun while LAPD is gang stalking, the fake sun while the people of the state are gang stalking, all right? They're engaging in what is psychological torture while doing that. Walking on the sidewalk is monitoring, walking out into your front door is monitoring. The entity is doing so with the state that's flying over the sky space, and they're doing so while the elderly, they're monitoring on communication devices as well. This is the POC. And like I stated at 1027, when you're looking at the people monitoring, this is what you're looking at. This is the entity that is engaging in that pattern of conduct and doing so with a level of impunity that is also relevant to federal prison terms. So I documented him in the middle of the afternoon, monitoring with his minor children, and this fake sun was still over this parking lot. That was well after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Living at a crime scene, and I believe the employee of Avaneth also lives in apartment number 41. They're all going to federal prison, and any immigrants that are gang stalking by virtue of living at the venue, you're going to prison. This is exactly what Speaker Companies was engaged in, and that's why LAPD was gang stalking me in helicopters, in concert with all the demons going to prison at Alvarado Gardens in units, in all 59 units. They're all going to prison, like I documented. This is exactly what Avaneth Capital Management, just like Speaker Companies, a gang stalking company, all right? This is the POC. So I want you to see that.
To the inside of the office where I'm at SCI, Alvarado Gardens, and they engage in this.
Give me 1 second. As I'm navigating my screen right now, the entity is amplifying noise, and now it's heard outside. While the door is closed, the sound is concentrated. Remember, it's demonic. It's as demonic as this sitting over the roof for the duration of the day. And that which is sitting on the roof is not over Alvarado Gardens, like you're going to see in this video. And this is all conduct that RGS is engaging in. Okay, their contract with the Avaneth to be here engaging in landscaping is proof of criminal presence. That's it. You're going to prison for that which you're engaging in with an intolerable level of facilitation. I've documented them more than 3 times now. Just want to be clear, they are engaged in psychological torture as a company and the demons that work for that company, and Linda Reyes is going to federal prison for it. Okay, she's already going to prison as an employee. She's going to federal prison for facilitation, and this is, in other words, prosecuting every aspect of the pattern of conduct where the entity is engaged in domestic terrorism and doing so systematically through the population, and everything that is underway is relevant to the elements of monitoring. So I'm going to look at this again, because as the screen is changed, the ongoing stalking via noise tactic is used. This is POC, let me start it again, where the fake sun is remaining here as I documented, and as I documented the other morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's not going anywhere, and it's also not over Alvarado Gardens while you're looking at it over the roof. While this is, again, everything that the entity unintelligently represents is what's going to be used against it. And it's also to you the evidence of the reality of the spiritual realm, the demon possessed. All right, and Satan himself, which is a spirit. All right, there's no sun at Alvarado Gardens that creates sunlight on your hand. There's no sun at Woodside Senior Apartments that creates sunlight through the peephole. And I just want to be clear, this is very close presence of the sun. All right, the so-called sun. This is how you're going to prosecute the entity, and this is ongoing pacing. That's another plane flying over, and you saw the other one. This is all going to the prosecution of the city. The city is engaged in gang stalking together, and there's the employee again stalking in the path, doing so while engaged in conversation. It's the same pattern of conduct, and this is what LAPD is doing under the fake sun. This is what Ontario PD does in concert with the people.
Alvarado Gardens, and they engage in this conduct on a daily basis. It's criminal monitoring, stalking by helicopter, and doing so under the direct light source.
Alrighty, I just want to be clear. Let me show you again.
On a daily basis. It's criminal monitoring, stalking by helicopter, and doing so under the direct light source.
So I just want to make sure that you can see that light source, and you saw the hallmark of the entity stalking, and that, as my documentation also shows, the fake sun remains at Alvarado Gardens. At no point is it ever over Ontario. And then you're recognizing the mental illness of those that are maliciously acting, the amplified audible activity, the engineered light that's on the floor, the engineered light that's on the ceiling, the engineered light that's shooting through the peephole, and then they engage in gang stalking you in your face. That's the basis of federal prison. And you're also witnessing malice of those that are monitoring my genitalia and want to converse in your face like they're doing something else. Under the fake sun. That's POC. All right. This is ongoing psychological torture. It's going toward the prosecution of Avaneth. It's going toward the prosecution. That was an Avaneth employee's employee as well. He's going to federal prison, and so is Linda Reyes. The entity is engaging in what is stalking via amplified noise, and they're continuously doing so even as you capture the evidence that's putting them in prison. Okay, doing so as I manipulate my screen, that's called stalking with activity. That's monitoring on a communication device in violation of Title 18. The sun that's over Alvarado Gardens, like I documented on January 30th, 2024, is not creating any sort of, just so you can see here, you can see it at the top of the screen where I'm getting it, but I have a wealth of documentation that I continuously capture while LAPD is engaging in that pattern of conduct of stalking in helicopters, which they did day and night. You're looking at concentrated engineer light, totally distinct from the fake sun that's over Woodside Senior Apartments and not over Alvarado Gardens, okay? And that is clearly on its face. In addition, what is relevant is that the entity is monitoring as I am creating documentation on my phone. This is Title 18 conduct, and the more that I capture screenshots, like I did at 10:09 a.m., as I capture screenshots showing the fake sun over my head at 1800 North Alvarado Street at 10:27 a.m. This is where I am screenshotting with the video that I just captured moments ago during the 10 a.m. hour. There is no sun. As you can see, it doesn't go anywhere. So I just captured another video, and for purposes of precision, 10:27 a.m. in Los Angeles last year, 10:27 a.m. in Ontario, California this year in 2025. There is no pattern of, there's nothing other than a pattern of conduct showing you what is, first of all, demonic activity, the presence of demons in the environment who engage in things just like you see, which is conversing in relevant position while the entity, like they were conversing out here in engineer light under the fake sun. The state is stalking over my head by a helicopter. Not helicopter. They are stalking by helicopter, but not audibly and visibly. They are stalking by plane, is what I captured in the sky space directly over me, where they're concentrating the plane activity, where they're concentrating the fake sun, is where they're concentrating also that engineered light. And again, mentally unstable psychopaths who are a threat to national security engage in ongoing acts of terrorism as you document it. That's why you're going to federal prison for it. And there is no argument that Linda Reyes has, that the people of the state that live at the venue and any other employee have with regard to going to federal prison. All right, this is prosecuting the government that's acting vicariously through the people, and they are literally animalistic and barbaric in their sexual violence. This is the same entity, just like I put in writing, this is the same entity engaged in what is human trafficking, that is watching my nude body on the internet, that I have when I have no knowledge of a camera being inside of my private residence. This is the same entity that acts with impunity and continuously threatens my safety and well-being by stalking with amplified audible activity. Monitoring me is that which is in furtherance of murdering me. The entity is engaged in obsessive psychological torture with the intent to break a human being down and to the point where they can literally take your life and surround you with circumstances, for example, murdering you and then claiming you killed yourself. So it's no small thing with regard to monitoring conduct, and the entity engages in more threatening and aggressive criminal conduct, which is on its face the basis of federal prison while you're living at the crime scene. Again, I want you to make sure that you are aware of the demon that's acting as an entity. As I document this, like I stated, and I'm referencing the screenshot, this is the criminal monitoring. As I navigate to different screens, for example, as I go to the camera function, as I document, for example, this is the picture that I took, and I take a screenshot of it comparing the fake sun that's over the apartment building at the same time, showing that's not the sun. That's speaking to the pattern of conduct that Woodside Senior Apartments is engaged in, which is putting everybody surrounding me on a 24-hour basis in federal prison. Your work schedule, your time that you go to your auntie's house for the weekend, when you go to take the kids to the babysitter in Victorville and come back home, you're not being removed. Your place of residence at the crime scene, the facilitating venue, is putting you in prison. Period. The entity is going to be prosecuted for that ongoing act, and this is the same entity. I want to be clear. Not only are they engaged in the pattern of conduct of gang stalking, they do so while as I'm capturing the video. Okay, this is what is so spectacular about the entity that is gang stalking. They're going to federal prison for the ongoing impunity with which they engage in that P.O.C. And as I capture screenshots identifying the fake sun at 10:27 a.m. at Alvarado Gardens, and over my head here at 10:12 a.m. at Woodside Senior Apartments, the entity fills this apartment. There's a loud boom inside, and that is to threaten and harass and terrorize while they are monitoring your documentation. That is, again, the entity that is threatening your life because you're reporting them to the federal government while the state is engaged in public corruption. That's a direct threat to your life. Literally the conspiracy to murder you and kidnap you, which the entity has continuously acts in furtherance of, and they've literally engaged in kidnapping on several occasions, including at Woodside Senior Apartments. They are not avoiding prison. Linda Reyes isn't avoiding prison. Neither are any of the employees who you see gang stalking in plain view. That conversation in relevant position was monitoring. They did the same thing while the Ontario Police Department were pacing around in helicopter like nothing is happening, like there are no consequences. They're going to federal prison. They remain inside of the venue at units 33 through 64, the both of them, and they act with impunity. That's what that is, and that's exhibiting mental illness. And that same impunity is documented while the apartment remains filled with ongoing amplified audible activity, which the demon with license plate 5WUB715, she never sleeps. She never leaves the position of the being directly above me wherever I am in the apartment, chiefly in the living room. The demon doesn't go to sleep. She doesn't abandon position. She's engaging in stalking on behalf of the government, who I've also documented at the crime scene, where you can recognize the specific environment, where you see things such as concentrated light and light streaming on a ceiling behind a front door, where that which is streaming through concentrated light through a peephole, and this is the same condition at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, including in the dark when the fake sun isn't even over the building, meaning 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock, or even when it's a cloudy day. That's how you know it's not sunlight. It's different shades, different levels of concentration of engineered light, equally potent to come through the peephole. Okay, this is the entity that's engaging in that. And so while I'm referencing it, I will go ahead and show you images of that. This is the engineer light coming through the peephole as I documented at 10:04 a.m. And I'm in the kitchen. You can see it on my hand. It's reaching through the depths of the apartment, and you can see it on the wall here. This is again where the entity on the opposite side of this wall, the demons in units 49 through 64 share this building on the opposite side of the wall as well, and they're stalking with amplified noise. That is monitoring conduct. It is that which is designed to keep you under surveillance. This is criminal surveillance that the government is engaging in the city of Ontario, and doing it in conformity to a pattern of conduct throughout the state of California, as I have documented in Los Angeles County, in Orange County, and Riverside County. I've documented this in San Bernardino County. The entity is engaging in a pattern of conduct, and everything that I am doing is in furtherance of that criminal surveillance. Where the government doesn't have any warrant or probable cause, it is unconstitutional and inhumane, and the entity does so with impunity. This is the engineer light coming through the peephole at 8:16 in the morning, where it is no quote-unquote sun. No sunlight on the door as the explanation for that light, even though the fake sun is not an explanation for light piercing through a peephole. Okay, but I just want to show you it's a means of light activity. This is that which is coming through the peephole at 8:16 in the morning, so you could see. So I'm always showing the conditions where the entity is engaged in ceaseless monitoring with noise and the engineered light on an ongoing basis, where the entity is maintaining the light source. This is engineered light that's along the wall where the entity is stalking with noise, amplified noise booming through the walls and through the ceiling. This is recognizing the crime scene. They're going to be snatched out of these apartments. They're all going to prison. And this one in Unit 55 is going to a mental asylum. And they belong there. The impunity that I intentionally document is relevant to how they're going to be treated in federal court. Outside of the federal court and outside of prison, but outside of the presence of the federal judge, the demons act with notable and legally relevant aggression and animosity. This is the government that's threatening your life. This is the government that is, in other words, communicating an impermissible threat. And it is literally an illusion that you are above the law and that you're not going to serve the consequences for gang stalking in any state in this country. Any state. So the entity is engaging in what is an outright refusal to cease engaging in that pattern of conduct. This is the fake sun at 8:15 in the morning, and I just captured the fake sun right now. Hours later, it's 10:36 in the morning. It's over the same building. And like I documented the other day, and since I'm capturing a screen recording, I will go ahead and show it to you now. The fake sun doesn't go anywhere. It's over the same building at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay? This is the P.O.C. And stalking with light, stalking with presence in the path, like the employees are exhibiting, just standing in front of you, talking, conversing, and engineer light under the fake sun while the state is stalking my plane, and the entity is obsessively stalking with activity, creation, amplified in volume, and all manner of demonic lights surround you. This is domestic terrorism, which is also psychological torture that the state is engaging in both directly and vicariously. And everybody engaging in that vicarious state activity on a ceaseless basis, like Woodside Senior Apartments in units 33 through 64, they shall be met with federal prison, and there's no removal from that. The only ones that shall be removed from the country are any gang stalking immigrants. All right. And I have probable cause to suspect that the demons in Unit 41 are not likely American-born citizens, all of them. If that is indeed the case, they're going to be deported after they sit in federal prison. And the impunity that you witness while they stand right in front, while you're under the fake sun, this is the government that's acting, having the audacity to gang stalk you in your face in concert with the people of the state. That audacity of the government, they're not private citizens. They don't even have a constitutional protected right to live here. They're going to prison for that. And that's Avanath Capital Management's impunity. All right. The entity is gang stalking, and Avanath Capital Management is civilly and criminally liable for the sky space that the state is using over the venue, for the property itself that people like RGS are gang stalking me on while they're being paid by Avanath to engage in landscaping. It's criminal presence and activity creation, and they're engaged in psychological torture. And by the way, and federal stalking under Title 18, and they're not ignorant of it. I've already documented this. Jose Sons and Landscaping, Smart Janitorial. These are the third parties gang stalking on a weekly basis as I was a property management at Alvarado Gardens. They're not ignorantly engaging in the pattern of conduct. They're not coincidentally engaging in facilitating conduct under a fake sun in concert and with simultaneity to what I'm doing. They're all going to federal prison, period. Units 33 through 64 and Linda Reyes. Okay, so the entity inside of Unit 55, this is the entity, this is the one, this is the masculine female. She's heavily documented, engaging in right now. It is 10:49 a.m. This is a demon that is using her vessel. And she is so deceived by Satan. She continuously engages in that which is, it's under no circumstances benefiting her anymore. You're not getting, there's no sacrifice. You're not getting any money for my demise. You're going to prison, and the federal government already knows what you're doing. And there are a lot of other people that are going to federal prison for what she does and what the rest of the entity is doing, like Avanath Capital Management, working and living at the venue. None of them have a right to be here because it's state conduct. All right, and that is already established and proven through the maintenance of that which is not even naturally the sun, not shared with, the unnatural environment is that which is shared with. That's speaking to malice, where the government is engaging in the demonic system of federal group stalking and monitoring. Demonic is synonymous with malicious in federal court. It is entirely personal. It is entirely specific to identify and recognize, and it is that which is not impervious to prosecution either. They are going to federal prison for yet another, again, highly probative video documentation, and this is what is ongoing as I am capturing that P.O.C. And so this is the video that I captured at 9:49 a.m. and it ended at 10:03. And I want to make sure that I show you the light activity. This was the light activity that was ongoing. And this is in the depths of a bedroom. And as I raise my hand up, you can see the shadow of this is impossible light. And this is very demonic. This is where demons are boom, 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 boom. With every move I make. Simultaneity is recognizing targeting. Simultaneity of that noise, the amplification of that noise is identifying targeting by demons. The entity doing so as a population is identifying demons. That which in that population includes the government. There's a superficial distinction when you get to state actors and you get to third parties who are also vicarious state actors. But the government, they're people as well, and they're demon possessed. They're the same population. They engage in the same behavioral patterns. One engages in gang stalking in planes and helicopters, for example, and the other engages in gang stalking by pacing around, and a demon is using this person's body, and it makes it sound like it's like a Jolly Green Giant. Okay, there is the ongoing pattern of conduct that's underway with regard to that P.O.C. And also the evidence of that is speaking to this, which is speaking to a crime scene. All right. This is an ongoing psychological torture. Avanath Capital Management, Woodside Senior Apartments, defendants in units 33 through 64 are going to federal prison, but the entire venue is filled with 144 units. They're all going to be prosecuted. They're all currently receiving housing benefits. No government is going to aid housing of any convicted domestic terrorists, which is exactly what they're all going to get. And Avanath Capital Management is going to be subject to devastating damages. Damages that are designed as a matter of justice to literally deconstruct that gang stalking, sex offending, corrupt company, maliciously using itself as a means of criminal facilitation so that the government can keep you under surveillance through a population that you're not supposed to be able to identify or document or recognize whatsoever. So now at this point, while the mentally ill, they don't want you to know about that mental illness. So while you are aware of their mental illness because they continuously engage in that which you were never supposed to be aware of, then you're able to see their obsession. Okay, these demons are obsessed. They're obsessed with my genitalia. They're obsessed with my thoughts. They're obsessed with any love prospects. They're obsessed with what it is that what job I may apply for. They're obsessed with what it is that I'm doing, what I'm eating, what I'm dreaming about, when I'm going to sleep, where I'm sitting in the apartment, what moment that I stand up. They are obsessed, and they are obsessed to the degree that they are more obsessed with me than they are concerned with going to federal prison. And that includes Linda Reyes, who does not have to be inside of Unit 55 to be documented as ceaselessly engaging in psychological torture and federal group stalking and monitoring, living at the crime scene. You are in relevant position at the 7-Eleven at 636 North Vine Avenue, including on the entirety of the property. Remember, the zone of relevant positioning is far beyond the property grounds of Woodside Senior Apartments. Going to federal prison includes those that are surrounding inside of the unit, okay? As I document that again, that's ongoing 10:53 a.m., the ongoing amplified noise of booming inside of the apartment and engineered light and under the fake sun. The entity continuously accumulates ongoing federal charges of domestic terrorism. Where there is no sun today or yesterday, nor at any point is the natural environment, including the sun over Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles. All right, that is speaking to, again, the people have placed themselves in federal prison. They're just accumulating more time. This case is fully complete. It is currently, again, 10:53 a.m. I'm documenting impunity by the people. This is pacing. That's Linda Reyes gang stalking right there. Let's go get some. She's going to prison, and she knows that she's monitoring me. Remember that. P.O.C. That's her. She's going to prison. This is the people of the state. The employee, license 9CZ-CO59. That's the employee that's gang stalking. That female with a minor child, they live in apartment number 41. Employees under the manager who's gang stalking right now. The fake sun moves as I move. It's no longer over the front door. All right. And they're targeting and monitoring. She's monitoring my evidence, and she's gang stalking in a private space. She's a sex offender who works for the corrupt company Avanath. And this is where the fake sun is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She's hiring companies that are here gang stalking. She's going to prison. All right. This is P.O.C. and they act with impunity. The fake sun moves to be back over me, and this is where it stays at 1:30 in the afternoon, well into in the evening. It just went farther than it goes after 4:30 p.m. Where it just went right now, this is where the fake sun is setting in alignment while I'm inside of the apartment after 4:30. This is monitoring. All right, this is P.O.C. All right, and you are living in the path where the entity is maintaining amplified audible activity on an ongoing basis, monitoring with minor children. It's placing those children in harm in an unstable, chaotic, and dangerous environment, and doing so while including them in the pattern of conduct. It's activity creation, and it is also that which is documentation of abuse of children under federal law, gang stalking with them, and through their methods of engaging in activity by them. It is also a contribution to the delinquency of minors. It is currently 10:55 a.m. Hi. 10:55 a.m. and that is P.O.C. and she is monitoring with the people of the state that are surrounding, and she is intentionally crossing path knowing that I'm referencing her name. She's going to prison, so she's listening to me document that, which the feds are aware of. So that's why she's walking outside. You're not working. You're not walking around exercising, jogging. You're not walking your dog. You're not even genuinely engaging in landscaping while I'm documenting the helicopter activity, the plane activity, the light activity, the amplified audible noise activity, and the entity that's gang stalking. She's monitoring, and she also knows that she's being documented by name. I don't have to mention Linda Reyes in order for the federal court she's going to be prosecuted. I'm just being complete because and she doesn't care. She's outside monitoring right now, and so are they engaging in with the amplified audible activity while that demon is out there monitoring. She's going to prison. She's earning her federal prison term. That's what she's doing, because they're in here, amplified boom, while that demon was outside in the parking lot. Okay, she's going to federal prison, and if she's not a natural born citizen, she's also going to be deported. Okay, and that goes for the workforce of Avanath Capital Management. They may or may not be natural born citizens. I just want to be clear of that. That's impunity. While you are arriving at work every day, while you're living at the crime scene, that's impunity. The fact that you live here, you signed a lease, the fact that you have a job is no excuse. The entity is threatening the life maliciously of an American citizen. And as you witness, they do so with complete disregard that they're going to prison. In fact, they engage in retaliatory conduct, because that's what I'm documenting in this video. Ongoing booming while that demon is in the path in the parking lot. Okay, while I'm documenting screenshots of Alvarado Gardens and Woodside Senior Apartments of a fake sun over me, while you're passing out notices to residents, you're gang stalking and you're going to prison for it, and you act with impunity. And that impunity is what is relevant to the damages that Avanath Capital Management is going to compensate for. It's currently, again, 10:57 a.m. where there is no sun over Alvarado Gardens, where LAPD is a documented gang stalker as well. This is the prosecution of the state of California. This is a detailed breakdown of the prosecution of the people of the state at Woodside Senior Apartments at 408 West G Street, not sharing any sky space with the Alvarado Gardens at 1800 North Alvarado Street. And the people of the state at each respective properties are going to prison. It is currently, again, 10:57 a.m. This is documentation of malice and impunity as well that's relevant to the enhancement to federal terms, to the federal prosecution, the sentencing, and it's also relevant to damages. It's 10:57 a.m. This is P.O.C.